Good morning. Welcome back to the Red Mic. Happy Tuesday. Glad you're here. Today's Red Mic message: better decisions faster. Most bad decisions at work don't happen because people are stupid or uninformed. They happen because teams get stuck. They argue about solutions before agreeing on the problem. They wait for information that probably won't change anything. They train the employees to bring every decision upstairs. And when something goes wrong, they spend more energy figuring out who screwed up rather than figuring out what they learned along the way. So here's four things that nearly everybody encounters and a better way to handle each one of them. Number one, everybody has an opinion. You've been in that meeting, 30 minutes in, five people, six opinions. Somebody's repeated essentially the same argument three times, just using a different phraseology. Somebody will eventually ask, okay, which idea is best? That's the wrong question. Before deciding which answer is best, everybody needs to make sure that they're all answering the same question. You need to ask, what problem are we actually trying to solve? Write it down. Seriously, put it on the board, because you'd be amazed how often three people are arguing passionately about three different problems. Now, once you figure out what the problem is, give everybody a minute to offer the best solution. Not 10 minutes, one. Then decide. Consensus is nice, it's not always necessary. If the team can't agree, then somebody's got to step up and own the call. And before everybody leaves, you got to figure out two things: who does what next, and when are we checking back? Because a meeting without ownership is not a decision, it's just a conversation. Number two, somebody wants more data. This one sounds responsible. We need more information. And sometimes you do. But sometimes we need more data really means I'm not comfortable making this decision. So again, get back to a simple question. What information are we waiting for? And would it actually change our decision? If the answer is no, or probably not, then waiting is not caution, it's just procrastination. Separate what you know from what you assume. Then look at the downside. If getting it wrong would be catastrophic, then slow down. If getting it wrong means making a relatively inexpensive adjustment later, then make the decision. Run a test, set a review date, learn. Decisions become clearer through analysis. Others become clearer through action. The trick is knowing which one you're actually dealing with. Number three, somebody brings you their problem. Employee walks into your office and says, here's what's happening. What do I need to do? Well, the easiest thing in the world is to answer. You're the boss. You probably have an opinion. Answering may save time today, but if you answer every time, eventually you'll have an organization full of people who are very good at bringing their problems to you instead of figuring it out themselves. So ask them this instead. What do you think your best two options are? Then what likely happens if you chose each one of these? And then finally, okay, knowing what you think, what do you recommend? Now you're not just solving today's problem, you're teaching them how to solve tomorrow's problem, because they can do that without you. And you can still intervene if they miss something important, but don't steal the decision from somebody who's capable of making it. Your job is not to be the smartest person in every room. Your job is to build more people who know what to do when you aren't in the room. And then last but not least, when the decision was wrong, eventually you're going to make a bad decision. It doesn't work. So will your team. And that's when leadership gets really interesting, because after a failure, people instinctively start protecting themselves. That wasn't my idea. I told you this might happen. Nobody gave me the information. Well, yeah, maybe somebody really did screw up, but deal with accountability if accountability is necessary, but don't waste the lesson. Ask them a question. What do we know now that we didn't know when we made the decision? Then write it down. Change your checklist, change your process, add the question that nobody thought to ask. Sometimes the most expensive mistake isn't the one that costs you money, it's the one you have to pay for twice. Remember that good leadership isn't making perfect decisions. Nobody does that. It's creating an environment where people can identify the real problem, decide with the information they actually have, develop the confidence to make their own calls and to learn quickly when something doesn't work. Slow everybody down. Help them to ask the right questions. That's how you're going to get to the better answers. Because sometimes it means saying, we know enough, make the call. But sometimes it means refusing to give somebody the answer because they need to find it themselves. And if you never push them to do that, they're never going to learn. You're not always going to get everything right. But if you can build a team that gets better answers in the long run, eventually you're going to win. That's today's Red Mike message. Hope you found it interesting or helpful. I hope you're able to use some of these things in place in your own life. I'd really appreciate a like, a follow, and a share. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Thanks again for being here. I'll see you again tomorrow. And until next time, don't forget, as always, life is short. Drink the bourbon.